Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing this morning? My name is Daniel Williams. This is the Cedar Ridge Chronicles. If you've never been here before, I want to welcome y'all. Y'all be sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you don't mind. It would really help me out and help my channel out. Guys, this morning I'm going to mount me a deer head. I've mounted several so far this year. Have not had time to make a video yet, but today is a little bit of a special circumstance because I've got this weird, crazy looking deer that I'm about to put on a form. Right here at the bottom, you can see his rack was completely busted. Had to fix that with some epoxy. What happened was, this right here is what we're working with. The bottom of this antler right here came off, almost like it shed, but it didn't shed at the burr. It was in separate layers right here against that skull cap. This is the eye socket. And where the eye socket was, and all the way up around right here, it just fell off. It just separated. And Hunter brought it to me and asked me if I could fix it. So we did. We put it back together with epoxy. I wrapped it all the way around here to kind of hold all that together. And I've got my holes drilled. I've got everything leveled up, ready to go on the form. But what we're going to have to do is put it on the form. I'm going to use some more epoxy. And I'm going to build that on in there to help sure it up once it's screwed on here. Let me show y'all what I did to the form itself. I cut this whole section out of the top of his head so that this will fit right down in there like that. Y'all can see just like that is where it's supposed to go. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to take where the top of that skull came down and came out here into this eye socket. I'm gonna have to rebuild that with some epoxy, get my shape back, and then I'm gonna go ahead and wrap that epoxy all the way around here to make sure that none of that falls back off once we get him screwed on and make him a little bit more durable. So I've got my GoPro set up on the stand right there, and I'm going to turn it on and we're gonna mount this thing up, see how he turns out. All right, so first, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put some glue on the body, the neck, and I'm just gonna pull that cape down past the head and do our eyes and go ahead and get those antlers attached and work on some of our epoxy for that skull cap, see if we can't get it kind of permanently attached. Basically just going to build it into the form so that it's all one solid piece. Deer's got a double throat patch. Didn't notice that whenever I was working on it. It's gonna be cool looking. Just gonna get this moved approximately into place where it's gonna be at. There we go. Be real close right there. Now, pull this back down. We're gonna start working on this antler here. Fit right in there somewhere. Stick a screw in it. See what it looks like. believe that's going to work right there. Okay, so now grab some epoxy. We're going to start working on this thing. I'm going to be using black epoxy. It doesn't matter what color you use, obviously. I just have got more black than I've got anything else. Sculpt that right in there to where it matches what I had to remove. You also want to make sure that you flatten up that where that eyeball is going to be sitting right there too. You want to make sure that sits flat, the back of that glass eye. Get this back side done. Y'all can see right here where this plate comes up all the way up through there. It's really weird how it's shaped. I probably should have filmed me when I actually put that thing together. Wasn't that impressive of a repair or anything. I just put a couple of screws up through there with some epoxy and got it all epoxied together. It wasn't that hard to do, but it was very unique how that plate looks is sitting on top of, because it comes right down around here and kind of sticks out a little bit where it's a separate piece from this skull cap. It's just kind of like it overlapped and like grew. I don't know if it got busted and broken or if it was just some kind of a defect that it had in the bone. I'm not sure exactly, but you see where it kind of protrudes just a little bit right there. You can also see it in the front right here a little bit too, whereas this one, this is like a normal side, you know, on this pedicle. This pedicle right here is really wide, but it also comes down and kind of flares. It sticks out like that. It's got a little lip up under it. When you put that bone right back together, it looked almost just like a piece of a shed antler. It was real porous, had a bunch of holes and stuff in it. And once it fit right back together where it went, there was like a little shelf that come out where the bone looked like it had kind of remodeled and tried to grow itself back into the rest of the skull. But I think as long as we got the transition pretty good right here, that's pretty smooth right there. I think that the cape should go right back on here pretty well, because the cape is obviously shaped like these antlers were, even though the antlers were very unique. the cape is going to be unique along with it. So should not have any trouble. All right, so that's got that rebuilt. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it, just making it beautiful, because we're going to cover most of that up with clay anyway. But you can see how the eye socket, we've got the eye socket built back now. We've got it flattened back out right there where that eyeball can lay up against it. So I'm going to start prepping another cape and let this epoxy cure for just a little bit. Once this starts to harden up real good, we'll go ahead and get our clay work, face and stuff done and get this cape stitched on up. All right, well, back from lunch. We got our epoxy cured up. It's been in here for probably about 3 or 4 hours sitting. You can still put a little bit of a fingernail mark in it, but it will harden on up as that sits overnight. Went ahead and put another deer on form while we were waiting on that to cure out. So he needs a little bit of detail work done this evening, but that's okay because we're gonna get the GoPro going. We're gonna get some eyeballs in this guy, get some glue, some clay, and some stitching. We're gonna put this thing together. Let's go. I have got to find some way to attach this camera to me to where I can wear it while I'm mounting these things. I tried it on my hat and it's too high. I tried it on my chest and it's too low. They make some camera glasses now. I think Ray-Ban came out with them. I've seen some video done with them and they're actually pretty impressive. Maybe something I have to end up investing in. It would be really nice for y'all to be able to see exactly what it is that I'm seeing. I think that was Ray-Ban that came out with them. Check into that. So if y'all have not seen it already, I have written a book that is now for sale on Amazon. It's not a taxidermy book, although I may or may not write one of those too here eventually. But the book that I wrote is called The Mountain, and it is a sort of like a journal. If you ever read The Old Man and the Sea or seen the movie, kind of similar to that. What it's about, it starts right after I had my heart surgery, and it doesn't really go into detail about just the heart surgery, but it's every trip that I've made deer hunting or scouting ever since I had heart surgery. Every hunting trip anyway I took on public land. And basically every trip, every scout, and every hunt is a chapter. And it's basically 2 full years of me trying to kill my first buck on public property in Alabama. It's definitely the first book that I've ever written. Me and Christy edited it and self-published, built the book, everything ourselves on Amazon, and I've got it for sale on there now. So if any of y'all want to go check that out, it'd be greatly appreciated. If you want to pick one of those up, I think y'all will really enjoy it. I was fairly impressed at how it turned out, considering that it is my own book, but still, I think it turned out pretty good. By the looks of it, I think it's going to go together perfect. Do a little bit of stitching, a little bit of moving around. I think it's going to fit just right. How's that look? It look pretty good? It look like a deer? I'm going to stitch this up right quick and we'll resume the camera footage. All right, got all the stitching done. Go ahead and tuck these lips. Get the nostrils and eyes tucked. This old buck right here looks like he had a tough life. He got little scars and wounds all over. Either a tough life or one really, really bad day. We're getting ready to wind deer season down in Alabama. Where all y'all from? Y'all comment down below. Let me know where y'all watching from and when y'all's season ends. I think this is about the end of January. We're about the 30th, 29th. Yeah, today's the 29th. Season ends here February the 10th. And I am ready for it to be over with. I've actually stopped taking deer in the shop. I've already closed the shop. For right now, I'm full. All right, well, there he is. Generally speaking, he's finished. Aside from some drying and some detail work, a little bit of grooming, epoxy and paint, be ready to go. I think that turned out pretty good though. So that one little spot right there, I forgot to tell y'all about that. I drilled all the way through that entire antler so that I could work that epoxy all the way into that bone, all the way through it, and then put a little cap on it right there. Where I've got the screws going up into that antler, I was afraid, as brittle as that bone was in there, I was afraid it may break out from there even with the epoxy on it. So I just went in and epoxied all the way through the entire antler. And what I'm going to do is just go back with a little bit of paint, touch that little spot up right there to match, and you won't be able to tell that it's there. But I think that will also give it a little bit more bite, something for that epoxy to hang on to, just to get a little bit more strength. I'd hate for the thing to ever get messed up, but I think we're good. I don't think it's going anywhere. But anyway, guys, really appreciate y'all hanging out with me today. And we're doing a whole lot more videos here in the upcoming months now that I've got deer season winding down. And finally able to get in here and start getting some mounts finished. But sure enough, guys, if y'all want to go check my book out, it's called The Mountain. It is on Amazon. Really appreciate if y'all go and buy one of those, read it. I think y'all probably enjoy it. Let me know what you think about it if you do. Also, if y'all need anything that I use in my shop, I've got my Amazon store listed in the description down below, along with the link for that book. So you can just go to those links. They'll take you straight to Amazon. And you can get whatever that you need to get. But guys, I'm going to go up to the house, get me some supper, and I'm going to sit down and relax. Appreciate y'all being here. We'll see y'all in the next video.